The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, something in my throat. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm gonna be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This creepy FBI spy finally got caught. So most of his videos, I do not know who these people are, and I don't know who this man is. But yeah, being creepy. Not sure what he did. Maybe he's stalking people. I don't know. But I guess I'll find out if I stop talking and get into the video. So let's get into it. Please, let's start it. And please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
This FBI agent wants to be a spy so bad that he ends up spying on his own government and getting people killed. Now the guy's name is Bob, and Bob really...
How's that creepy? Oh, I guess it can be creepy. I was thinking creepy as in being weird and like stalking people, like ladies or something. I don't know.
He wants to be like 007. I mean, he used to read those James Bond books as a kid, and now that's the life he wants. But unfortunately for Bob, he's nothing like James Bond. He isn't smooth or athletic. In fact, he's just a nerdy accountant. So he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna spy on someone. So he starts spying on his own wife, this woman, Bonnie. And so Bob will take like risque photos of Bonnie with her consent, but then without her consent, he'll show those photos to his friends.
That's
Not
weird.
only that, he low-key sets up a CCTV camera in his bedroom that's hidden behind a photograph.
Okay, see, this is what I was thinking about when I was thinking about creepy. So he is creepy. But what why though? I don't understand.
And Bonnie doesn't know about this camera, and so Bob will film them smashing and then later show that to his friends. And his poor wife has no idea.
And also, what kind of friends are those? Like, why would they want to watch that? Like, they pick someone's house to go to? Because I'm pretty sure, actually, I don't know what year this is, but yeah, it's kind of weird if your friends are interested in watching your videos. Creepy friends too.
He's doing any of this. Dude is just trash. But anyway, in 1976...
Okay, 1976, so they had VHS, right? VHS? That's what I was going to say. I was going to mention VHS earlier, but... So, whose house are you going to showing all this?
His dream finally comes true. He gets an opportunity to be an actual spy. Because one day, when he's 32 years old, he applies to the FBI, and he actually gets hired. And they only have him working on financial crimes and accounting stuff, but whatever, his foot is in the door. 3 years later, he gets relocated to New York City, where he works in the Soviet counterintelligence unit. And here he's like, this is it, this is my big shot, I'm gonna be like 007. But unfortunately, they kind of stick him doing administrative work,
interrupted by an ad.
Classified data and stuff like that. And this kind of pisses Bob off. I mean, he got into this business to do espionage. How dare they undervalue him?
How come he keeps turning into the Hulk, like, gradually?
Spy no matter what. So one day, Bob goes over to a local Russian trading company in Manhattan. And he just walks into their offices and he talks to them and he's like, I want to be a spy, so let's make a deal. I'll give you some FBI secrets and in return, you pay me money. Now, keep in mind, this is all happening during the Cold War, so tensions between the Soviet Union and America are really high. And this local Russian trading company isn't actually a local Russian trading company. It's actually a front for the GRU. The GRU is like the Soviet equivalent of the CIA. And so these Russians are sitting there listening to Bob's crazy idea, and they're like, Konyeshna. And so, boom, they have this arrangement.
I don't know what that means.
And finally, Bob is officially a spy. Just, you know,
they're spying on him.
Opposing team. And soon he's communicating with the Soviets over encrypted radio transmissions, and they dead drop him cash. And he's telling them about some Soviet places that the FBI has bugged. He's telling them the names of suspected Soviet informants for the FBI. And some of these informants he's naming end up getting arrested in the Soviet Union or executed over this. But Bob don't really care.
Dang.
He got what he's always wanted, plus he's getting paid. So he keeps feeding them more information and more information for about a year. But then, in 1980, he gets caught. But not by the FBI. They still have no clue he's doing any of this. Bob gets caught by someone else.
His wife.
Because one day, Bonnie, his wife, is at home, and she walks into the basement, and Bob is there.
I was just joking, but it was his wife? Okay.
And he's like, oh, don't come in, I'm wrapping presents. But actually, he's looking over some communications with the Soviets. And she actually catches him in the act with these letters that he had written to them. Now, at this point, Bonnie could turn him into the FBI, but she's not going to do that. She loves Bob. And she's also super religious. So instead of all that, she takes him to her church, to her priest, to confess. And so Bob goes and he confesses all this espionage he's been doing to this priest. And the priest hears all this and he's like, holy shit. And now the priest wants to turn Bob into the FBI. But instead, he makes him a deal. He tells him that he won't turn him in if he agrees to donate all the money he made from the Soviets to charity.
Charity, aka his bank account.
$30,000. Also, he has to promise to never spy again. And Bob, he doesn't want to get turned in, so he agrees to this deal. And he goes back to his normal, boring life. He quits spying for the Soviets, and he pays the money he made.
But if you were giving them information for a year and then you suddenly stop, aren't they gonna get mad because they want more information? So now they're gonna be coming after him, maybe.
Little by little to a charity. And over the next few years within the FBI, he keeps getting transferred and he keeps getting promoted. And this ends up giving him access to even more sensitive information. And then in 1985, he gets access to info about former KGB agents who are now living in the US. And he knows how valuable this info is. And he's like, I am selling this shit. I want to be a spy again. So he goes and he writes an anonymous letter to a senior operator in the KGB offering his services. In this letter, he basically says, I'll give you the names of KGB agents who are secretly working for the FBI if you give me $100,000. And crazy enough, the KGB agents do. And so...
But what if the person that he gave the letter to was one of the, secret FBI agents?
Boom! Suddenly Bob is back in the spy business.
And his wife's gonna be like, where'd all this money come from?
So for the next 6 years, Bob hands these KGB agents U.S. secrets, sensitive U.S. information, blowing people's covers, snitching on people, and the KGB pays him tons of money in return via dead drops. But then, if you know your history, something really crazy happens. In 1991, the Soviet Union suddenly collapses. So now you've got all these former KGB agents who are approaching U.S. intelligence agencies and feeding them information and exposing their U.S. informants. And so Bob, he starts to get worried. What if they snitch on him? And so he's like, all right, this is too risky. Time to...
Wait, but did he use his real name when he was in contact with all these people? Like, he didn't give them a fake name just in case something like this happened?
Quit, and he slows his spying down to a crawl for years. Then, around 1999, he's like, all right, let's get things going again. And he starts feeding Russia sensitive FBI intelligence information. And they're paying him. They're paying him really well. So at this time, Bob has been doing this scam for nearly 20...
Okay, he's doing all this, and he's making all this money, but his wife doesn't notice. She's living comfortably, but she doesn't know how. I don't know, maybe he's working, and she doesn't check the bank account. They don't have a joint account. I don't know.
Years, and he's made a ton of money from it. And it seems like bro is just never gonna get caught. Until... So the FBI, they're not stupid. This isn't their first rodeo. They know there's a mole in their organization. They just don't know who. So they find former KGB agents and they start offering them money to give them information on any FBI moles, past or present, who may have sold them secrets. And then finally, one former KGB agent agrees to hand over a file about FBI moles that the Soviets had worked with. From these files, the FBI is able to extract that the mole is their own long-term agent, Bob.
So he used his real name.
The FBI doesn't swoop right in and arrest him. No. Instead, they don't say anything to him. They just promote him. Like, they pay him more, but they move him to FBI headquarters where they give him a bullshit desk job so that they can watch over him closely. because they want to catch him in the middle of making a dead drop to the Russians. They even assign him a new assistant to help him at this new job.
Spying
That
on him.
assistant, of course, is really assigned to spy on Bob, because they're just trying to collect evidence on him at this point. But anyway, eventually, Bob goes to a local park to make another dead drop to feed information to the Russians, and finally, bam, the FBI swoops in and they arrest him. This is actual footage of the FBI arresting him. Also,
What's with the
here's his
guns?
mugshot. And so, at the end of it all, Bob had been spying for the Soviets in Russia for over 20 years and had made around $1.4 million from it. And so Bob, he takes a plea deal, and instead of death, he gets life in prison.
Ooh.
Here's actually a picture of him in prison.
What year was that?
A huge shout.
What happened to his wife? Are they still married? Did she ever figure out that he was still doing this? Did they question? Because I know they probably, maybe they questioned her because she did know, but she never told anyone. So isn't she liable to get arrested too because she knew what was going on? But she didn't say anything. I don't know. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SexTV. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray. His name is Tongue Twister. Ray William Johnson video. This one is titled She's Insane. I don't know who this lady is. Her face, I'm not. Apparently, I can't speak English right now. I don't recognize her face, so I don't know who this is. But yeah, let's just get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this absolute psychopath
Let me turn it down
mom
too,
will
dang.
do anything to make sure her daughter succeeds. Anything.
Oh,
Now, her name is Nancy.
foreshadowing. You see her with a gun? Who's she gonna kill? Because his videos always have a twist at the end, so I'm scared.
She's 56, living in Texas, and one day in
It's in
2015,
Texas.
Nancy gets some crazy news. Her daughter didn't make the high school dance team. So Nancy
Well-
hears this news, and she is devastated. How could her daughter not make the team? This is the
Maybe she's
end
not
of
good
the
enough.
world. Now, her daughter...
Also, never mind. I thought this was Cyclops, but I guess it's someone else. Because I can't speak. I was about to ask, why does Cyclops have wings? But anyway, that has nothing to do with the video.
daughter is this girl, Kylie. And why is it so important that Kylie makes this team?
Oh, she's a
Because
stage
if
mom?
Kylie doesn't make the high school dance team, then she won't be able to later make the local college precision dance team, the Rangerettes. And in this area of Texas, being a Rangerette is a huge
She's a
deal.
stage mom, isn't
So
she?
anyway, Nancy is pissed off, and she is not going to give up on getting her...
Dang, she's probably living her life through her daughter. So she wants her daughter to do what she never could do. Is that why she's this crazy?
daughter on the high school team. She is going to make sure she eventually becomes a Rangerette. So for months, Nancy goes to the school board and she complains and she demands that they reinstate Kylie like, my daughter was treated unfairly. And she claims that her daughter was discriminated against because she's tall. I guess Kylie
I
is
think it's
slightly
still
taller
too
than
loud.
the other girls, so Nancy
Okay.
is playing the discrimination card. Here's the thing, though. It actually works. The school board ultimately gives up and sides with her and rules that the coach has to let Kylie onto the high
Is she
school
even
dance
good?
team.
Dang.
So then
They have
now
auditions.
Coach is pissed. She doesn't like being second guessed by the school board. And here's the best part. I guess Coach is
Dang.
just a petty person.
Who's she gonna
because
fight?
She says, fuck this, and she resigns over this. But right before she does, she lets everyone on the dance team. Like any student who tried out, she lets them on the team. So it actually floods the team with
Oop.
all kinds of amateur dancers, and now suddenly the team sucks. I aspire to be that petty. And so now, since the team sucks, Kylie or her mom doesn't want her to be on it anymore. So then, Nancy transfers Kylie to a different
Okay,
school.
girl.
Kylie doesn't even try out for the dance team. After all that, I guess she gave up. I don't know. I don't think Kylie ever cared as much about...
See, like, I don't even understand. Like, mom's crazy for no reason. okay, so you want her on the dance team. Now she's on the dance team, but the dance team is not good. So you transfer schools. And, okay, so why aren't you fighting that hard for this school?
Dance as
I
her
don't understand
mom
people.
did. But anyway, now I assume Nancy's all mad because her precious daughter will never go on to be a rangerette. Now, you would think at this point all this drama would be over. Oh, no. It's just getting started.
Where's the until?
Because about a year later, in 2016, Nancy is driving home from shopping, and she passes by a car, and she spots one of Kylie's ex-boyfriends driving it, and he is with some girl. And I guess Nancy's like, I need to see who this new girl is that...
Okay, why is she all up in her daughter's life? Like, why do you care? What's wrong with her?
Ex-boyfriend appears to be dating, and she decides to turn around and follow him. She even puts on a wig so that he won't recognize her following him. Because I guess she just happens to have a spare wig in her car. So she starts
commits other
following
crimes
him for a while, and eventually she stops, and she pulls over, and she starts looking him and the girl he's with up on Facebook. I guess she's trying to figure out what's the deal with this new girl. Okay, now, there's this whole gossipy section of this story that I'm going to skip over because it's boring and stupid. All you need to know about Nancy's impromptu Facebook stalking is that she ends up on the page of this girl, Alexa. And now Alexa, she used to go to high school with Kylie. She was on the dance team with her.
Okay, so this mom has no life. Like, why is she all up in her daughter's life? All up in her daughter's business? And her daughter doesn't seem to care about these people, so why does she? She has no life. Dang. Is she married?
And she actually has since gone on to make the Rangerettes.
Ooh.
So she's now a Rangerette. Also, there's Alexa's mom, who we'll just call Alexa's mom. And mom is the director of the Rangerettes.
Ooh.
So maybe Nancy's looking at their Facebook profiles, feeling a little
You can take that wig off, girl.
and resentment. But regardless, Nancy knows that Alexa is possibly friends with ex-boyfriend's new girl. And Nancy's like, I want information on this new bitch. I'm gonna go get it out of Alexa. And then, for whatever weird-ass reason, in that moment, Nancy just snaps. She is gonna get this information from Alexa. And so she drives right over to Alexa's
Why do you
house
care?
because they live in the area. And from here, she makes sure she has her wig on, so no one will recognize her. Then she grabs a pew-pew and a roll.
You need a gun to ask a simple question? Like, wouldn't it be easier just to make like a fake profile, follow her, and DM her? Like, now you doing all this?
Of duct tape. Because I guess she keeps those things in her car as well.
Something wrong with her.
Then, out of her trunk, she grabs a very large, novelty-sized snowman Christmas card. And she keeps a lot of weird shit in her car. Then, she goes and she knocks on Alexa's door. Now, really quick, just to remind you, Nancy is doing all this because she's trying to get information about a random girl who her daughter's ex-boyfriend is dating.
How does she even know that they're dating? Like, what if that's his sister or cousin? Like, how do you just assume that he's dating someone because they're in the passenger side of his best friend?
It's her 18 or 19-year-old daughter's ex-boyfriend. Anyway, so Alexa's mom answers the door, and Nancy has the snowman greeting card covering the lower half of her face. And she's like, hi, can I speak with Alexa? And Alexa's mom doesn't want to be rude, so she invites her in. And the second Nancy sees Alexa, boom, she pulls out her pew-pew. And they're like, oh, shit!
What?
And Nancy takes their phones from them, and she starts scrolling through Alexa's contacts, looking for this girl's phone number. Then, when she doesn't...
How do you even know who the girl is? Like, how are you going to get someone else's phone? You don't know who the girl is. How are you going to know her name to even search her on the phone? Oh, my gosh. Or maybe she does know the name because of Facebook.
Find it, she makes sure Alexa and her mom's wrists are bound with the duct tape she brought. Then she lets them know that she's about to kidnap Alexa. Like, we're gonna take a drive.
Like, why do you want to know all this information?
She's gonna try and get out of this. And she's like, oh, can I grab my shoes first? And Nancy's like,
okay.
all right. And so Nancy follows Alexa into the other room to get her shoes. And that is when, pow, Alexa's mom rips off the duct tape and she runs out the door and down the street and she's screaming, "Home invasion! Home invasion!" Meanwhile, Nancy forces Alexa into her car.
Wait, so she just left her daughter in the house with the crazy lady with a gun? Okay.
They speed away. Now, in the car, Nancy continues to be a total nutcase. She's asking Alexa things like, "Do you think you're perfect because you're a rangerette?" And, "How are you so calm? Is that because of your rangerette training?" This woman is insane. Now, eventually, they pull up to a storage facility that Nancy had previously rented. And she gets out and she forces Alexa
it's turning
inside,
into
and then she has her lay
that
down,
Netflix
and
show,
she
You.
wraps her up with duct tape. Because now it's time to unalive her. So then suddenly, boom, Nancy puts both her hands on Alexa's neck and she starts choking her harder
What?
and harder.
For what reason?
Until Alexa passes out. Sometime later, she wakes up.
Oh.
Nancy is still there in the storage unit with her. And she's like, "Damn, you're still alive?" I guess Nancy's disappointed that...
Okay, she has no life, because if she thought she was dead, like, she's just standing over her, waiting for her to, what? Come back to life? What? I don't understand.
Alexa didn't die? Anyway, lucky for Alexa, Nancy is apparently late.
Why'd she have the
for
storage room?
dinner. I guess she really wants dinner, so she just straight up leaves. And she leaves Alexa tied up in the storage unit to just
can you get up?
die. However, Alexa, she ain't no punk. She isn't about to
She's
die
a rangerette.
in this dusty-ass storage unit. Now, her legs are apparently really strong from all those years of dance and all that rangerette kicking she's been doing. And so she uses all her strength, and she kicks, and pow! She breaks the tape from around her ankles. Then she frees her wrists. Then she gets up, and she runs the fuck out of
And
that
she gets
storage
younger.
unit, which I guess wasn't locked for some reason. Then she scales 2 fences, and then finally she runs to a random person's house, and she asks them to call 911. Meanwhile, Nancy, at this point, she's at home. She's chilling. She's eating dinner like she wanted. Like nothing happened. Like she didn't just kidnap someone at gunpoint. And of course, eventually police show up, and they're all banging on her door, and they question her, and Nancy completely denies everything. She's like, "What? I didn't kidnap anyone. I don't even know those people." And police, they...
Wait, how did they know? Like, how did the police go to her house? How they know? Because they didn't know each other. This random lady came to the house with a gun. So how do they find her so fast? Like, if you just met someone for the first time and they had a gun and then you call the police, like, you don't know their name, you don't know where they live. So how long between calling the police and showing up at her house? I'm confused about that.
They know she's full of shit. And so, bam, they arrest her. Here's her mugshot. And she's ultimately charged with kidnapping, and she takes a plea deal, and she's sentenced to 5 years in
That's not long enough.
Also, Alexa and her mom sue Nancy, and she's forced to pay them $575,000. Good for...
Okay, so, is she still in prison? What year was this? 2016? I don't know when they caught her. But, no, that's crazy. And her daughter, like Nancy, is that her name? Her daughter, like, still associates herself with her mom. Because it seemed like she didn't even want to be a dancer anyway, so cut her off. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Sexy V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. Oh, I got his name right, because usually it's a tongue twister for me. But yeah, this rich preacher is in prison now. I never understood how, like, preachers and pastors and stuff, how do they become rich? Because isn't the money donated to the church used for the church, or do they just send that money to their personal bank accounts and that's how they become rich? I don't know. If someone knows, explain it to me in the comments how they become rich doing this as a job. Dang, I'm choking on my spit. But anyway, let's get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this preacher you are gonna hate this preacher.
What he do?
So I know you don't like me, but I'm divine.
Now, his name is Lamore,
Okay.
and Lamore works as a mortgage broker. And one day in 2004, he
Okay.
decides he wants to be rich. So, how's he gonna get rich? Well, see, Lamore is dating a woman who works at a car dealership, and she has access to all the customers' credit reports and personal information. And so Lamore steals her work login info, and I guess on his own computer, he uses it to access all the customers' information. And then he takes out loans and lines of credit in these customers' names. He then takes that money and he uses it to
Not
buy
this
himself
picture.
nice cars, nice clothes, jewelry. He buys himself a motorcycle. Oh, and he doesn't just steal the identity of one or two people. He steals the identity of over 50
Isn't this the guy? Whatever his name is. So I'm guessing these pictures are from previous videos.
different people, and apparently takes out more than $2 million in loans. And of course, people eventually catch on
Was
and
interrupted by
report
an
him,
ad.
and bam, he gets arrested. Here's his mugshot. And so he spends 5
Okay.
years in prison, and he
Okay, so I'm gonna guess where this is going. So he got caught for doing this, and then I guess when he was in prison, he found God. And then he became a preacher, and then he started stealing money from I'm guessing. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
never does anything else bad again ever in his life. Until
Dang, this is early
So
until.
while he's in prison, one day
1 minute
Lamore
later.
gets an idea. I'm guessing he gets this idea in prison. I actually don't know where he got it. But at some point, Lamore realizes that he can really profit off of religion. So in 2013, he gets out. And within a few weeks of getting out, he sets up his own church. And he becomes the bishop of that church. And he starts it out of his home.
Wait, but wasn't this whole scam, whatever he did, wasn't he all up on the news? And then he gets out of prison. People don't remember. Maybe they forgot. I don't
A
know.
small group of people, and he eventually moves it to a more legitimate building space. And of course, with a guy like Lamore, what he's preaching is the prosperity gospel, which suggests that being wealthy will actually get you closer to heaven.
God chose me to be a preacher. Y'all think I want to be a preacher? I don't get paid from preaching.
Oh, he definitely gets paid from preaching. Not only that, he makes sure to show off his wealth in front of his congregation. Like he'll preach to them
They're not
wearing
side-eyeing
tailor-made
him?
designer suits, like this one.
Like how he gets
This
his money.
one. He also wears nice rings and watches while he preaches. Even when he's not at church, he's always decked out in some super expensive designer shit. So, where's he getting the money to pay for all this stuff?
That's what I want to know.
Congregation, of course. And he's not just allegedly skimming from the donations. No, no, no. It's way more direct than that. Like one day, he calls up one elderly woman in his congregation, and he cons her into handing over her retirement fund. Like he tells her that he can improve her credit score and help her purchase and renovate a new home if she just invests with him. And she
But out of all these people that go to your church, no one recognized you from the news or this mugshot or your name. No one called him out.
believes him, and she hands over $90,000.
It's 2013. At this point,
and of course,
they can
instead
use
of
the internet.
helping her improve her credit score or buy a house, Lamore takes the money and he heads straight to Louis Vuitton, where he gets himself some
Louis
new
Vuitton.
grip. He also puts the money towards some payments on a BMW. And as you can imagine, pretty quickly after starting his church, Lamore becomes
It's interesting to me that people that steal money, they use it to buy like material things. Not saying I would steal, but if I was them, I would use it like on food. Like good food.
the richest bishop on the block. Like he's driving around in a Rolls Royce. He also apparently has another Rolls Royce. This one's actually worth $350,000, by the way. He's also living in a 9,000 square feet mansion.
And I'm gonna walk y'all into my prayer closet. This is my prayer closet. Got all my priestly robes, designer coats.
Where's the
Louis, you name it.
where's all the religious stuff? Where the cross is? Where's the holy water? All I see is boxes
Fendi,
and clothes.
You name it. Designer wear for days.
This is your prayer closet?
For days.
Not only that, he's getting kind of a JV celebrity status from all this, and people start calling him the Bling Bishop. And from there, his Instagram blows up to 1.3.
But people don't question how he's getting this money. Like, even the people that he, like, scammed over the phone, like this lady, they're not like, like, he's getting all this money. Where's my money?
3 million followers, and known people start affiliating with him. Like, here's footage of 50 Cent speaking at his church. Here he is apparently hanging out with Fat Joe. Here he is with Tracy Morgan. Here he is with Ja Rule. Here he is hanging out with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who's another shady guy that we talked about.
All these people would not be excited. Like, no shade to them, but I'd rather meet more interesting people. They don't seem interesting to me.
In a previous video, if you remember. Okay, but then something kind of crazy happens. Something that starts to change everything. One day in 2022, he's up in front of his congregation, preaching or whatever. And that is
3
when
years ago.
suddenly, boom, 3 men in masks bust into the building, and they have pew-pews. And Lamore is live streaming this sermon, so you can actually see the moment he realizes these men are there to
Is this the
rob
video
him.
footage?
How many of you have lost your faith because you saw somebody else die what you about to go through? Yo, all right.
And you can see him.
Wow, did he hire these people? Because how they come inside when he says he's talking about death.
Faith because you saw somebody else die what you about to go through.
You saw somebody else die, what you about to go through. And then these people walk in. Was that a code word, code sentence? Is he in on this?
Yo, all right.
And you can see him here laying down on the floor, and then you can see these men come up and rob him. And they apparently steal $1 million worth of jewelry from the people there, including Lamore's watch and chain. His watch is a Rolex valued at $75,000. His chain is valued at $400,000. And he live streams afterwards and talks about all this.
They took all of my wife's jewelry and took all of
But yeah, like people that have all these expensive things, they're always quick to show it off on social media. So like, as Wendy Williams would say, the killer. But I guess in this case, the robbers, they see what you have. They know where you work. Of course, they're going to roll up.
my jewelry, and then they left.
And so, like, the story
If he's not in on it.
Reporters are hitting him up, and they're asking him if he's going to wear less jewelry in church so that he's less likely to get robbed.
Are you going to wear less bling so you're less of a target?
I will wear what I've been blessed with by God when I feel like it.
Now, police eventually end up catching the guys who did it. But this live stream footage of the robbery blows up. Because it's a crazy moment. A bishop getting...
And then they're going to put two and two together with this mugshot of what he did earlier. How y'all late?
robbed in the middle of a sermon on a live stream? Like, what are the odds? And so this story ends up all over the news.
A Brooklyn bishop was robbed at gunpoint in the middle of his Sunday sermon today, and it was all caught on camera.
And people hear about it, and they're like, wait a minute, why was this preacher wearing a Rolex and a $400,000 chain? Where's bro getting all this money? And so, allegedly, this is when reporters really start looking into him. And one day, also allegedly, some of them show up to his house to see if they can get a statement from him about some of the bad press he's been getting. You know, that big-ass house that he owns? But when they get
Where's the
there,
gate?
supposedly, they notice that there's a foreclosure notice on his door. And they see this,
He ain't
and
paying
they're
his
like,
rent.
what the hell is going on? Is the bling bishop actually broke? Apparently, yes. He had been spending all this money on his lifestyle, and at some point, he starts running into money problems. Like, he's failing to make payments on those luxury cars that he got. He gets sued a couple of times over failing to make
That's
loan
what he gets.
repayments. And so it seems like Lamore needs
Don't
money
feel bad.
real bad, and he starts getting pushy about getting it. And one day, he tries to target this guy, Brandon.
Okay, so I guess he wasn't in on the robbery. I thought he hired those people. because the timing of when they came in, I was like, okay.
Owns a local auto body repair shop. And I have no idea how these two guys know each other, but at some point, Lamore tries to get $5,000 from him. And he threatens to use force if he doesn't get it. So I guess he's like, I'll kick your ass if you don't give me $5,000. And if that isn't bad enough, then he tries to get Brandon to lend him $500,000. And in exchange, he promises to give him access to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Told you that guy was shady. But Brandon is like, F all this, and he turns on him and he starts cooperating with the FBI. And the FBI sets up a whole sting operation, and they get Brandon to wear a wire and meet up with Lamore. And so he meets up with Lamore. And Lamore swears to him that he has connections with Mayor Eric Adams, and whatever business scam he's trying to get him into is gonna make them millionaires. And this whole conversation is recorded for the feds to hear. And eventually, after a long investigation, the feds find him and bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. And he
Second
goes to
one.
trial and he's found guilty for wire fraud and a bunch of other stuff, and he's sentenced to 9 years in prison.
Wait, was that in 2023? So he's still in prison. But dang, like no one recognized him from this first crime. And like also people at the church, they didn't realize or notice he's wearing all this expensive stuff. It only happened when he blew up online from the robbery, and people that don't know him had these questions, but people that actually knew him in person and saw him at church, they didn't have these questions. Anyway, people are weird. That is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Section V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. He is a monster. And in his original thumbnail, it says he is a serial, I don't know if I can say it, killer. But yeah, I do not know who this person is. Usually, like in the thumbnail, is the person like a story that we've heard before, but I don't know what this is about. So let's get into it, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So why did this super charming guy suddenly end up going crazy and murdering a bunch of people?
Oh.
Well, his name's Somkid, but we'll call him Kid. And Kid lives in Thailand. And his whole life, he's been very charismatic, and he's really good at getting people to trust him.
Can I borrow your wallet?
Once he gets you to trust him, he'll...
What? Who? That is the most random question. Like, who asked to borrow a wallet? Can I borrow a wallet? What? I never heard that before. Is that a thing? Is that like asking to borrow money? Or is that... I don't know. I'm going too much into it.
He'll swindle you. So he's always conning and stealing and cheating people out of their money. This is basically how he makes a living. He's a con man. And he does this his entire life. But sometime around 2005, when he's around 40 years old, he decides that this con man life just isn't enough for him, and he suddenly gets into murder. So one day, he checks into a nice hotel. Then he goes out to a karaoke bar. And there, bam, he sees this beautiful woman, and she's up there singing, and he thinks she is fine. And soon enough, he starts talking to her, and they're chatting, and Kid, he can't tell her that he's a con man and that he's got nothing going on. So he tells her that he's a talent agent and that she really caught his eye. And Singer is all flattered, and so when Kid asks her to come back to his hotel, she's like, "Aight."
It's interrupted by an ad.
So they go back to his hotel, and once they're there,
that is weird. Like, if some random person comes up to you, is like, "Oh, I'm a talent agent. You want to come to my hotel and talk?" Would you go? Oh, it's kind of sketchy.
He starts asking Kid about the whole talent agent thing, and suddenly he gets all defensive. Because, you know, he's a liar who just got caught in a lie. And so they're arguing about this, and this is where Kid just snaps. And boom, he grabs her by the neck, and he strangles her. And then he ties her up, and he drowns her in the hotel bathtub. Then he steals some of her stuff, and
he's mad at her because he lied and she called him out.
he leaves. The next
Weird.
morning, police show up and they find her body. And they have Kid's real name because he used his name to book the hotel room. But unfortunately, his name is apparently very common in that area.
Oh.
There's like thousands of people with that same name. So they
Some
don't
kid.
catch him. And thus, Kid just keeps on traveling around Thailand, living his life, and no one suspects he did anything wrong. 5 months later, one night, he books a room at another nice hotel. And he goes to a massage parlor and he hires a masseuse for her services and he brings her back to his hotel. And for whatever reason, they get into
Why
an
people
argument.
keep going
Once
to his
again,
hotel?
Kid just loses it and he attacks her, strangling her until she's unalived. Then he steals her phone and her jewelry and he leaves. And from there, he just keeps going. A week later, he goes to another massage parlor and he picks up another woman. And he takes her back to his hotel room and he's like, "Hey, I own a gemstone mine." And she's like, "Oh, cool." And there, he strangles her too
Oh my
until
gosh.
she's unalived. And then, of course, he steals a bunch of her stuff. Now, so far, the locations of the 3 women he's murdered, they've all been in Thailand, but they're about 100 miles apart from one another. So police aren't yet
How is
seeing
he-
a pattern. However,
How's he traveling all these distances in such a short amount of time?
some of these hotels do have security cameras, and one of them just happened
Oh,
to
it's
catch
real.
Kid on video. And
Real
there he
video.
is checking into the hotel there. And so now police have an idea of what he looks like, and they start to piece all this
Also, how is he picking up all these girls? Like, is he good looking? Because these AI pictures, I'm surprised. But unless, I don't know, are they attracted to the money or to him? Because, like I said, these AI pictures.
together,
Nuh-uh.
he's doing this to different women in different hotels, which means he's now officially a serial killer. And now they gotta get the Royal Thai Police involved, which is like the National Police Force. And so they get involved and they start looking over the case. Meanwhile, Kid just keeps going. A week after his last murder, he ends up in another hotel in a different province, and he picks up another masseuse. Then he takes her back to his hotel room, but this time he slips something into her
crazy
drink
eyes.
that knocks her out. Once she's sedated, bam, he strangles her and he unalives her. Then, of course, he steals her stuff and he flees. But this time, Kid screws up because he leaves his fingerprints. I guess he wasn't so sloppy before, but he's been getting really sloppy lately. And so police investigate this death, and they look through the room, and they find his fingerprints, so now they know who he is. And so, boom, they start a nationwide manhunt looking for Kid. And soon, screenshots from the security footage and an old mugshot of his are posted up everywhere, all over the news.
And that's what he really looks like. I'm not gonna say anything.
But by this point, Kid has
I was just
already
like,
fled.
he
He's
picked up all these
hundreds of
girls.
miles away from the place he last murdered. And as you could have predicted, in this new place, he picks up yet another masseuse. And he takes her back to a hotel, and there, he strangles her and unalives her. So this is number 5. After that, he escapes again.
Just
and he
for
goes to another town,
jewelry
he
and stuff?
crashes at a friend's house. Now, this friend, she's a widow, so we'll just call her Widow. And Kid, he's staying at her house, and she's like, "It's so good to see you." She has no idea he just unalived 5 women, 4 of them in the last 3 weeks. And so he lays low with Widow. She doesn't suspect a
He looks
thing.
totally different in
And
this picture.
everything is going great for him. I mean, police have no idea where he's at.
Until.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, you remember Kid has stolen a bunch of stuff from his victims, including their cell phones. And at some
Tracking.
point, he uses one of the victims' phones to
They're
make a
gonna track
couple of
him.
calls. And police have actually been tracking the SIM cards of those phones. And so the second he makes those calls, boom, they got his location. And so they send a squad out to that location, which is actually Widow's house. Meanwhile, Kid and Widow are there at the home watching TV, and suddenly a picture
Oh.
of him shows up on
And he be
the
looking
news.
crazy on
And
TV
Widow's
too.
like, "Hey, that guy kind of looks like you." And Kid's like, "Nah, that don't look like me." But then,
Girl,
boom,
run.
boom, boom, police are beating on the door, and they come in, and bam, they arrest Kid. Here's his mugshot. But unfortunately, it's not over for him,
Oh.
because he's still got more murders to commit. And so anyway, he goes to trial.
What do you mean? They caught him, so... Oh my
Now, he
gosh.
pleads guilty and he gets life in prison, but he eventually gets his sentence reduced. I guess he's a model prisoner, and after 14 years, he's granted royal clemency and he's released
That does
on
not
good
make
behavior.
sense.
And so now, after 14 years, Kid is out, and it's 2019, and he's 55 years old at this point. But he's still a pretty charming guy, so pretty quickly, he gets himself a girlfriend.
He got convicted for doing all this, and they reduced his sentence. That does not make sense. I don't understand
Of
people.
course, Kid doesn't tell her that he's a convicted serial killer. No. He tells her that he's a lawyer, and I guess she believes him. And so they get into a relationship, and they move in together, and they end up running a noodle shop together. But during that time he's living with her, he gets on Facebook one day, and he meets this other woman. Her name's Ratsumi. She's a hotel maid. And they hit it off, and they start dating. And of course, he doesn't tell Ratsumi that he already has a girlfriend. Anyway, soon they start getting pretty serious, and so he's splitting his time living with each girlfriend. And at some point, he talks Ratsumi into lending him money, because I guess he's broke. Specifically, he talks her into putting a down payment on a car for him. And once he gets the car, and he has it for a while, I guess he realizes he can't afford the payments on it. So instead of figuring out a way to pay Ratsumi back for the money she put down on the car, he decides to just break up with her. And so then he goes to break up with her, and this turns into a huge argument. And this argument
she wants her
gets
money.
heated, like really heated. And in that moment, Kid suddenly snaps, and he reverts to his old
Again.
ways. And boom, he grabs her by the
Whoever
neck,
released
and he
him.
strangles Ratsumi until
It's crazy.
she's unalived. Then he steals her motorcycle and he flees. Here's the thing though, when police find Ratsumi's body, they know it was Kid who did it. I mean, there's only
How
been
they
like
know?
2 or 3 serial killers in Thailand's entire history, and he's one of them. And so, pretty quickly, pow, they plaster his photo everywhere. Then, about 4 days later,
What about his
he
other
gets on a
girlfriend?
train, and a young couple spots him, and they're like, hey, I think that's the serial killer. And they contact police, and once the train stops,
Why does this guy look like a Korean
police
actor?
arrest him. Here's another mugshot. And so, Kid is busted again, and he pleads guilty, and this time, he's sentenced to death.
Oh.
That is wild.
Oh my gosh, I tried to stop it before it gets to the ad, but it didn't work. But who had the bright idea to reduce his sentence the first time? Like, I don't understand that. Like, he unalived all these people, got life sentence, and then you just let him free. Makes no sense. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Section V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to this Ray William Johnson video. Casey Anthony is in big trouble. I know about this. Oh, I know about her. I know about the story. Don't remember what year it was, but yeah, it was like all over the news, and I don't remember the outcome of the case because yeah, her daughter went missing and was found unalive. I think hopefully he recaps the whole story because I don't remember the whole story. So yeah, I don't remember if she got convicted or not. Like, it was so long ago, I don't keep up with her and I don't know the whole story. So hopefully there's a recap in the beginning. But yeah, I wonder, because she came back. Like, I'm surprised she's still like in the public eye, because I feel like everyone thought she was guilty. Was she found guilty? I don't remember. But let's get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this woman just joined TikTok, and she might already be the most hated TikToker in TikTok history. Let me explain. So her name's Casey, and Casey is unemployed, living in Florida with her parents, and one day in 2005, life drops.
Dang, it was 20 years ago? This was 20 years ago?
She's pregnant. Now, why is this a problem for Casey? Well, not only is she unemployed, but she's also only 19 years old. She ain't ready for all this. So she decides, oh, I'll just give the baby up for adoption. But Casey's mom, who we'll just call Casey's mom says absolutely not. So Casey has the baby, and she keeps her. And the baby's name is Baby Kaylee. So now, Casey and baby Kaylee live at home with Casey's parents. But here's where we run into problems.
Is it too loud?
According to Casey's friends, Casey is a little jealous that all her friends get to be normal 19-year-olds and get to go out and party and stuff, while Casey is stuck at home taking care of a baby. So then over
Was
the next
interrupted
few
by
years, Casey
video.
starts
But where's the baby daddy? Like, apparently this happened 20 years ago, so I don't remember all the details. But I feel like there was a guy in the picture, unless he's a new boyfriend or something. I don't remember.
lying to her parents about having a job. She'll tell them, "Oh, I gotta go to work." And her mom will watch baby Kaylee while Casey leaves and goes off to party with her friends. These are actually some pictures of her partying. There's another picture of her partying.
She's like
You get the
20?
idea. And to keep up the lie to her
Wait,
parents,
how old was she? Like, she got pregnant in 2005. She was 19. And the baby's still a baby. So I see a drink in her hand. So underage drinking?
that she has a job.
Unless it's
She
not
starts
alcohol. I don't know.
stealing from people, from her friends, from her family. She's taking money from her mom's purse. She's forging checks, all kinds of stuff.
And her head look big
Plus,
here.
she keeps making up lies to get other people to babysit for her. I mean, she clearly no longer wants to be a parent. And eventually, she, unfortunately, gets her wish. Because it's now 2008. And one day, Casey tells her parents
Okay,
she's going on
so
some work trip and that she's gonna leave baby
not
Kaylee with
exactly
a nanny.
20 years ago
This all seems pretty normal behavior from
when
her
the
at
story
time.
broke out.
But then Casey suddenly just disappears. Like she doesn't come home, and her parents haven't seen her in a while. And they start to get a really bad feeling.
Okay, so I was talking over everything, so I don't remember. Did she bring the baby with her?
And this all seems pretty normal behavior from her at the time. But then Casey suddenly just disappears. Like she, unfortunately, gets her wish. Because it's now 2008. And one day, Casey tells her parents she's going on some work trip and that she's gonna leave baby Kaylee with a nanny. And this all seems pretty normal behavior from her at the time. But then, Casey...
But why not just ask your parents first? Like, they've been watching her when you've been going out partying, so... Like, couldn't they just watch her at home? But yeah, I think this is where the crazy part of the story comes in, because she didn't want to have the daughter. So, it seems suspicious that she wouldn't leave it with her family, her parents, but a random nanny that ain't nobody know.
Casey suddenly just disappears. Like she doesn't come home, and her parents haven't seen her in a while. And they start to get a really bad feeling that something terrible happened. Then a month goes by, and Casey's parents get a letter saying the car Casey had been driving was impounded. So Casey's dad, who we'll just call Casey's dad, her dad goes to pick it up. And when
Original
he gets to
name.
the impound lot, something immediately is very wrong. Because there's a really strong odor coming from the trunk of the car. And there's nothing of importance in the trunk right now, but it smells like there had been a body in there. Now, at some point during all this...
Okay, so, I guess it's a good thing, but I do not know what a dead body smells like. And hopefully I never have to find out. But yeah, like, if you never came in contact with that smell, how would you know? Because if I came in contact with that smell, like, my first thought wouldn't be dead body, because I don't know what that smells like. So, did he know right away? I don't know, but yes. I don't know. Like, is it a smell that you would know if you smelled it? Or, I don't know, because I smell some things walking down the street, and I'm like, smells, what is that? But I think it's just the street, because people are nasty and people throw stuff on the street. I don't know.
Casey finally comes home, and baby Kaylee is not with her. And that is when Casey's mom freaks out and calls the police.
My daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
And so police bring Casey in and they question her, and she tells them, oh, I left Kaylee with a babysitter, and the babysitter must have taken her. Her name is, Zanny the nanny. And police are like, your daughter's been missing for 31 days?
And she didn't report it.
And she tells them, oh, I've been doing my own research. And so they ask her where Zanny the nanny lives. And Casey takes them to an apartment building and points at an apartment and is like, she lives there in that apartment. But when police look in the windows, the apartment is completely empty. And not only is it currently empty, but no one had lived there for 5 months. And no one by the name of Zanny the nanny had ever lived there. Because Casey never even had a nanny. She lied. And so, bam, police arrest her. Here's her mugshot. But the story's not over, because we gotta get to why TikTok hates her so much. So anyway, this story immediately blows the up. Like, it's dominating the news, not just
I remember, dang, it was everywhere.
Every news outlet is talking about it. People want to know what happened to baby Kaylee. And so thousands of volunteers from all around form search teams to go out looking for her. But unfortunately, they don't find anything. Now, here's what's really crazy. We know that Casey had disappeared for a whole ass month. So there's a month of time in her life unaccounted for. And what did Casey do during that month she went off the grid?
Party.
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Because at one point, before baby Kaylee goes missing, someone at Casey's house, we don't technically know who, but someone uses the home computer to search for very specific terms like chloroform and neck breaking. Then, 2 days after baby Kaylee had gone missing, Casey asks her neighbor if she can borrow a shovel. She also, at one point, steals a checkbook from one of her friends and she goes shopping. Now keep in mind, her baby is gone. According to her, baby Kaylee had just been stolen by her nanny, and Casey uses this time to steal a checkbook and go shopping? Not only that, but she's also hanging out with her boyfriend every night, and she never mentions to him that her baby was just stolen by a nanny.
See, I think this is the part of the story I knew about, like, I forgot, like, small details, but I'm pretty sure there was a guy in her life. But according to his story, I do not know how long they have been together. Like, was it the whole time? Is this the baby daddy? I don't know.
Or say that anything had happened to her daughter. She doesn't seem worried or sad at all. In fact, quite the opposite. She's going out to bars and clubs with her friends, drinking and partying. At one point, she enters a hot body contest. She goes and gets a new tattoo. Like your 2-year-old kid is missing and you haven't told anyone, not even your parents, and you're out partying and getting new tattoos?
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's no wonder the internet's
so
mad
suspicious.
at you. And so this tomfoolery goes on for about 31 days before she finally returns back home to her parents' house. And that's where we saw her mom call the police. And that phone call from her mom, that was the first time the police had been notified that baby Kaylee was missing. So, like, it's just a little suspicious, right? Oh, but it gets worse. From there, police investigate, and they look at her car, and the trunk of her car tests positive for chloroform and human decomposition. I mean, there's just so much, I guess, technically coincidental evidence that some foul play went on. But yet, despite that, Casey still insists that baby Kaylee is probably still alive somewhere out there. She's just missing. And so people continue.
Wait, so I don't remember the story, but didn't they ask her why she had all that stuff in her car, her trunk, and why it smelled like that? Like, because that was a long time ago. I was still a kid, so I don't remember, but I want to know now, like, why, what did she say when she was asked about the smell and the chloroform form, whatever it's called? Like, what did she say?
You to look for her. But then, several months later, they get some inevitable news. One day, a utility worker is out in a wooded area a little less than a mile from Casey's parents' house, and he comes across a bag. And that bag, sadly, has Kaylee inside.
Okay, so they did find the bottle. They did find the body, not bottle.
She had been murdered. And so then, fast forward a few years. It's now 2011. And this whole thing goes to trial, with Casey being accused of murder. And of course, she...
Okay, so I know this is an AI picture, but she definitely did not wear that to court, I'm pretty sure.
pleads not guilty. And her lawyer actually ends up being a pretty good lawyer. And he argues that Kaylee was never kidnapped. That the day she allegedly went missing, she actually accidentally drowned in the family pool. And that Casey's dad, I guess he didn't want to look neglectful, so he covered it up and made it look like someone kidnapped her? And she later makes a very different argument, but in court, that's what Casey's lawyer argues. So, you know, believe what you want. Anyway, so eventually the jury deliberates and they come to a decision, and keep in mind, 40 million people are watching.
Wait, I don't remember the story, but that was the defense that she drowned and the dad was in on it. What did he say about this?
This verdict live on TV. And so the jury comes out and they read the verdict and they find Casey not guilty. And of course, people are pissed and like...
Okay, so yeah, I didn't remember the judgment of the case, as I stated in the beginning, but did they ever ask about the smell in the car and why it was impounded randomly and why there were traces of chloroform in the car? Like, I really want to know the answers to those questions.
And people are protesting. They can't believe she got away with this. And so then 14 years go by and it's now 2025. And for whatever reason, Casey decides to join TikTok.
This is my first of probably...
And also, what did the dad say about
on a series that I'm starting?
And even though
being
she was
part
found
of the
not guilty of unaliving her daughter,
carrying.
TikTok users pretty much unanimously are like, hey, get the f*** off our platform, you monster. You're not wanted here. And regardless, she only has 2 videos up, but she has since turned off all of her comments. I guess she doesn't want the hate. Now, I have no idea if she's going to actually post any more videos. I mean, she says she is, so...
Okay, so, dang. Yeah, I'm glad that he had that recap, because now I know what I wanted to know. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure she knows that all these people don't like her, because this is like the most suspicious story, so I'm so surprised that the jury found her not guilty. Like, what does her family think about this? Her parents? Did they ever... It's an interesting story. It's also scary, and, yeah, like, if you didn't want to have a child, like, couldn't you just, I don't know, like, let your parents take care of it? I don't know, but this is what you thought of doing? And this is your only option that you thought of? It's a crazy story. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say, because she was found not guilty, but all these signs and evidence, like, I don't understand. How is that possible? Like, what did the jury decide or see that we didn't see? Or maybe there were some jurors, because they have to be unanimous, so I'm guessing there were some jurors that wanted to make her guilty, but I don't know. I don't know what happened in that room. But, yeah, it's a crazy story, and, yeah, I remember it blew up everywhere, and people were investigating and stuff, and, like, the story doesn't add up, so that's why I'm so confused. But, anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below, and if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Sexy V, and if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This is This Crazy Woman Believes She's God. And, yeah, I feel like people that do this, they get a following, and they get a following only because a lot of people are really gullible. Like, I don't understand how you could be so gullible. And, yeah, people just like to believe in things, and they get caught in scams and stuff. But, yeah, let's see what she did, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this McDonald's worker
Oh,
starts
not
a
McDonald's.
cult and becomes sort of a god. This story is wild. Now her name's Amy, and Amy is kind of a new age hippie, and she's the manager of a local Mickey D's in Texas. And one day in 2006, she starts having visions, and she isn't sure what they mean or why they're happening. But then, one day, she meets this guy online. His name's...
And also, people that claim to have visions and stuff, like, how come they never predict, like, big things that happen in the world? Because if you really had predictions and visions and stuff, like, why did all these things happen, but you couldn't tell anyone to stop it? You speak about it after it happens? Okay.
name's White Eagle, and Amy and White Eagle really hit it off. And he really likes her, so he starts gassing her up, telling her that she's been having visions because not only is she low-key a god, but she's like the god. And Amy's like, oh snap, I'm a god! And she starts to
she's the
believe
gullible
that
one.
she has some divine mission. A mission to leave her whole life behind and save the world. And eventually, she does. She leaves her kids and her family behind to pursue this divine mission. So
She couldn't bring them along in her delusional
she travels from Texas
adventure.
up to Colorado
It
to
was
be with
interrupted by an
White
ad.
Eagle, where he lives. And she starts calling herself Mother God. And White Eagle is her father god. And they start posting videos of themselves online.
This is Mother and Father God and the Earth Allies, and we declare peace on...
Why does she sound like an AI voice? That is not her normal voice, is it?
Earth equal heart.
And over time, they start building a following online, like a little cult, of people wanting to hear them preach their specific brand of spirituality. And over the next few years, this cult following grows bigger. And unfortunately, it doesn't.
I feel like this picture that he used, it doesn't show it here, but I feel like he used that picture for another story, another video that I reacted to.
Doesn't work out between Amy and White Eagle, so she leaves him and she ends up smashing with this new guy, one of her followers. His name's Miguel. And so now Miguel is the new Father God. And together, Amy and Miguel officially start a new religion called Love Has Won. And it's like a mix of New Age and Christianity and conspiracy theories. Now, here's the thing about Miguel.
He's a criminal.
Miguel's actually super organized and good with finances. So he and some other followers set up a website and social media for this new religion. And this helps them reach more people and get more people to follow them. And then some people even start joining this religion in person, like not online. And since Amy believes she is a god herself, she's preaching all kinds of goofy shit to these people. Like, she claims that she's been around for 19 billion years and has been reincarnated 534 times. She claims
just
that
making
she's
out these
Cleopatra
numbers.
reincarnated. She claims that she's Harriet Tubman reincarnated. She claims that she's Marilyn Monroe reincarnated. She also claims that she's Elvis Presley's mom somehow. And she claims that she can communicate with the spirits of dead celebrities, including Patrick Swayze, John Lennon, Whitney Houston, Prince, Tupac, Robin Williams, all kinds of crazy stuff. But most importantly, she believes that she can heal people just by touching them. Like, she claims that she's cured cancer in people and Lyme disease and
This lady.
autism. And the worst part is that people believe her.
We are what they call spiritual doctors. It's exciting what's unfolding for us.
And so Amy
Who's that
starts
random man next to
charging
her?
money to heal people and perform these psychic surgeries on them. And people pay, sometimes thousands of dollars for a session. Not only that, she rejects all modern medicine and she gives her followers crazy medical advice. Like, she tells her followers to take colloidal silver every day, which is like a mineral. And she herself takes this mineral every day, thinking it's some kind of cure-all, which it's not.
I mean,
Surprise.
magic and miracles are happening, everybody. Truly. We're watching it right before our eyes.
And at the same time, she's preaching all this crazy health and wellness nonsense. She gets drunk and high every day, like falling down off her ass drunk every single day.
Oop.
But anyway, then in 2014, the group moves from Colorado out to California.
Wait, so this whole time she still has kids, but she doesn't. She just left her kids behind. Okay.
Yeah. And here they bring even more people into the cult.
More gullible
and suddenly
people.
they have like 20 live-in members, like people actually living in the place with them. And who knows how
That
many
looked like more
online
than 20.
members? Hundreds, maybe thousands. And they're like selling alleged health products online, like colloidal silver,
Where is Miguel?
body
What
lotions,
happened to him?
crystals, essential oils, merchandise, and they also do virtual healing. So Mother God can heal you through like FaceTime calls.
How does she heal you? I thought she had to touch you.
A few years pass, and it's now 2018.
Uh-oh.
And here
COVID's around
is
the corner.
when everything changes.
What'd she
for
do
Amy.
then?
Because even though she's supposedly some
Why she looks
kind
so
of
much older in
spiritual
this
healer,
picture?
her own health starts to visibly decline.
She can't
Like, she starts
heal
looking all
herself?
sick and frail. She's got lesions all over her skin, and she's in pain all the time.
I don't know if this video will go out or not, but do you?
Okay, so at this point, people didn't realize the scam yet. They didn't realize that she's been faking the whole time, because how's she sick? Like, shouldn't she be able to heal herself? None of these people question this.
The amount of pain I'm experiencing is beyond human.
And maybe she's doing so bad because she's drinking alcohol all day. Maybe it's because she refuses to go to a doctor or take any kind of modern medication. But her body really starts shutting down. And eventually, she no longer has feeling in her legs and feet. And she ends up paralyzed from the waist down.
How's that
She
happening?
can't walk. And this guy has to carry her around everywhere. The guy, his
What
name
does
is
she have?
Jason. And Jason
Where
is
is
like
Miguel?
the new Father God. We're like 5 or 6
What? It's a new person?
Father Gods in at this point, and he is the newest one. And so anyway, this goes on for a few years, and Amy's health just keeps...
So she did survive COVID, or is this COVID times right now?
keeps getting worse and worse. She's weak, she's lost a ton of weight, like she only weighs like 75 pounds at this point. Not only that, but because she keeps taking all this colloidal silver every day, her skin legitimately turns a silverish blue color. And you can see it in photos of her, like here and here and here. And like, look, here she is sitting with Jason.
Dang, she
and
looks
look at
sick.
his skin compared to hers. Okay, but here's...
So is that silver thing toxic? Because what's going on?
what's really crazy. As her health visibly deteriorates, Amy, I guess she starts to realize that she's dying. And she starts asking her followers to take her to the hospital.
But are they not questioning why she can't heal herself? Like, wouldn't that be the first thing? Like, how do you charge people to heal them, but you can't heal yourself?
And her followers are like, nah, bro. They refuse because of everything Amy has taught them. Her core teachings are now ingrained in them.
Oop.
And they are against modern medicine and doctors, and they think taking colloidal silver is going to save her. Not only that, Amy will
They don't see
even
her
have
skin.
moments where she'll admit to her followers that she's not a god and she has no special powers. And at this point, her followers just don't believe her. Like, listen to them talk about it.
We've watched her spin. She's like, I'm not God. Everything I've done isn't real. What if I made all of this up? What if I'm just crazy and everything I've done, it was all just fake and it wasn't real? And we just sit there and it's heartbreaking.
Then, in 2021,
How old are these people that are
eventually,
gullible?
They take Amy up to a place they have in Oregon, and at this point, her skin
Dang.
is more silverish blue than
She
it's
needs to stop
ever
taking
been.
that stuff.
And she looks like the worst she's ever looked, health-wise. And sometime after that, no one knows exactly when, but Amy dies. Like, right there in their cult house, or wherever they're living. Now, since Amy is
did they
no
just
longer
leave her there?
living, her followers believe that she's going to ascend into another dimension, like with her whole body, through some kind of spaceship that's supposed to appear in the sky. I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, so the cult members don't report her death, nor do they get rid of the body, because if they get rid of the body, then it won't be able to ascend. Instead, they wrap her up in a sleeping bag with Christmas lights coiled up around her, and they put her in a car and they drive her from Oregon across the country back to Colorado. And there
What's
they
with
end
all
up
this
staying in
driving?
a house that I guess they used to stay at that's owned by Miguel. And apparently Miguel has
He's
been
still
staying
around?
there in Colorado, and he hadn't seen Amy in a long time. And he shows up to the house to see everyone, and that is when he sees unalived Amy for the first
Oh,
time.
let me guess. He's the one
wrapped
that's
up in
gonna
a
call the
sleeping
police.
bag and Christmas lights. And Miguel is like,
Get that out of my house.
this is too much. And he goes and he reports it to the
Mm-hmm.
police.
See, Miguel's the only sane one.
So, police show up to the house, and bam, they arrest 7 of the cult members. Here are a bunch of mug shots. And they're charged with abuse of a corpse and some other stuff. But at the end of it all charges against the cult members end up getting dropped. I guess they didn't have sufficient evidence to convict any of them, so...
What do you mean you didn't have evidence? Like, they had a whole body in the house. I don't understand. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that whatever silver that made her sick and all these people are still taking it. They're probably still taking it to this day. I don't know, but, dang, that's crazy. But, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SexGV. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This is Beware of This Creep. Don't know who this man is, but dang, can we normalize not being creepy? Because why people are so creepy? Like, I reacted to another video the other day. I think it was a body cam video. Yeah, that guy was creepy. I don't know what this guy did, but apparently he's creepy. So, can people just stop being creepy and nasty and weird? Can we stop? Okay, let's just get into the video to find out what he did, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this guy, he's a creep. Like, I don't know how else to describe
You're
him.
nasty.
Now, his name's John, and John's 31, and he's kind of a turd. I mean, he's been lying and cheating and scamming women his whole life. But he gets away with it because he's kind of a charming dude. One day, his life starts to change a little. Because in 1990, he meets this woman, Tanya. And Tanya's 25, she's a...
Okay, so 1990, he's 31. So I guess now he is, wait, math. Dang, he's 66.
a nurse, and they date for a couple of
if
years,
he's still alive.
and they end
I don't know
up
how this
getting
story's gonna
married.
go.
And John eventually starts nursing school, and he becomes a nurse, just like his wife. But then he screws it all up, because he ends up cheating on her, and he gets the other woman pregnant. And of course, Tanya is pissed off, and
Super
she's
Saiyan.
hurt. Like, how could he lie to me with so much ease? So she starts digging into his background to see if there's anything else he lied about. And yes, there definitely is. He had apparently lied to her about a bunch of stuff, including his age. Who lies to their own wife
He ain't 31?
about their age? So Tanya's fed up, and she starts searching.
But when you get married, don't you have to, like, show proof of identification or something? She never looked at his ID. She never saw his birth certificate or something. I don't know what you need to get married for the documents and stuff, but he doesn't have a passport or none of that. He never...
their house, and she finds a bunch of meds that she knows should never leave the hospital. So clearly he's been stealing drugs from the hospital he works at and abusing them. So she calls the police and reports him. And so John not only gets his nursing license suspended, but he gets hit with a charge of felony drug theft. And John knows it was Tanya who turned him in, so he starts calling her and threatening her.
Tanya, you enjoy...
Where does he live? Because aren't they still married? Unless I missed it, because I keep talking.
Your time left on this earth, okay?
Okay,
That's
that's
what
threat.
it's gonna come down to.
That's
But
threat.
whatever, eventually, bam, police arrest John. Here's his mugshot. And he's sentenced to 6 years in prison, but this isn't even close to being over. Because John gets out after only 17 months, and he's gonna go terrorize some more women. So he eventually gets back in the dating game, and he starts pulling this whole scheme.
What
where
year
he'll
is it
match with
now?
Women on dating sites, and then he'll meet up with them.
Wait, what? Dating sites? I thought it was like early 90s. Like, Didn't he say 1990? So 6 years later, it's like, I don't know the timeline anymore.
And then he'll
They ain't no
steal
dating
from
apps
them.
in
And over
the
time, he gets
90s.
a bunch of complaints and criminal charges
Was
over
interrupted
this.
by an
He
ad.
also gets charged with stalking one woman. Bro is just an absolute turd.
But why? I don't understand. Like, you have nothing better to do? Get a life. Dang, if someone doesn't like you, move on. Find someone else. I don't understand. What's wrong with people?
One day, everything changes again for John, because he joins a dating site for people over 50. And there he meets this woman, Deborah. Deborah's 59, she's an interior designer, and Deborah's successful. Like,
Girl,
she's got a little
run.
money. And so they chat
Run
and
and
they hit it
hide.
off, and they end up going out on a date. Now, while on this date, he's trying to riz her up.
Why is he still dressed like a nurse? I thought he was... I thought he lost his license, so what's he do?
He tells her he's an anesthesiologist, which he's not. He also tells her he just got back from Doctors Without Borders in Iraq, which he didn't. But Deborah doesn't know any better, so she believes him. I mean, she's impressed. And they end up going back to her place to hang out a bit longer. And there, I guess at some point, John lays in her bed. And he won't leave. And Deborah's like, all right, it's time to go. And I guess he's just like...
Not him being weird
so they get
again.
into some kind of argument about it. But eventually, he does leave. The next day, he calls
Blocked.
her and apologizes, and he begs her for a second chance.
Block her.
And so they
Block
end
him.
up going out on more dates. And over
Okay, so that was a huge red flag, and you just brought him back into your life? Okay.
time, he does win her over.
Oh.
And Deborah kind of falls in
She a
love
teacher?
with his weird ass. Here's the
I
thing
forgot what he
about
said.
that, though. Despite how much Deborah is into him, people around her really aren't. I mean, they know a creep when they see one. Particularly her adult daughter, Jacqueline. And Jacqueline thinks he's weird and he's a loser, and not only that, she's pretty vocal about it. Now, Deborah's other adult daughter, Tara, she also thinks something's off about John. And they think this because there is something off about John. Like, remember he said he's an anesthesiologist? Yet, he doesn't even have his own car. Like, what kind of anesthesiologist can't afford his own car? He also chills and plays video games all the time, despite having an important medical...
How they know? They've been to his house, unless he's at... I don't know the living situation. I don't know where he's playing these games, but if he's living at his own place, how would they know he's playing games?
career. He also only ever wears scrubs. Like, everywhere. Like, even to
'Cause he a
formal
scrub.
events, he'll show up in some dirty-ass scrubs. I
I
guess he
don't
really
want no
wants
scrub.
everyone to believe he's a doctor. But the thing that bothers Jacqueline the
Her
most
face.
is that he constantly has dirty, disgusting fingernails, which doctors are usually known for keeping their hands
Picking
clean.
his
Oh,
butt.
but not this guy. Not only that, they don't know it yet, but being an anesthesiologist is not the only thing he lies about. He lies about having a job, like, altogether. Bro is just unemployed. Like, he leaves the house for work every day as if he's going to his job.
Wait. Okay, there's something missing in the story, because did he move in with them? Like, how do they know all this? Is he living with them? Like, why would you let him stay? I'm confused. I'm so confused.
But he doesn't actually have a job, so where the f*** does he go? Regardless,
With no
Deborah
car.
and John end up moving in together. And
Okay, so now they move in, but this whole time the kids know what he's doing if he doesn't live with them. Like, how do they know? I don't understand that.
shortly after that, they get married in Vegas.
Where's his
now,
scrubs?
by this point, Jacqueline and Tara are like, nah, something's up with this guy. And they go and they hire a private investigator to look into him. And this private investigator finds out a bunch of stuff about John. That not only is he not an anesthesiologist or any kind of doctor, but that the period when he was supposed to be working with Doctors Without Borders in Iraq, he was actually in prison. And so Jacqueline and Tara, they try to tell Deborah all of this, but I guess Deborah just isn't ready to hear.
Girl, she missed the red flag when he wouldn't leave the house the first time. She ain't gonna listen now.
It. Now, eventually, Deborah does start investigating, and she looks into John herself. And she
Oh, now she
discovers
wants
that,
to.
Yeah, Everyone was telling the truth about him. He's not a doctor at all. In fact, he's a criminal with a history of victimizing women. And so, one day, while John is in the hospital getting back surgery, she low-key moved...
What? Wow, there's so many missing pieces. Like, when did he have back problems? Oh, no.
...moves out of their house. And while he's still recovering at the hospital, she lets him know, I've moved out. And he, of course, gets super pissed. And over the next few months, he
Why is he mad? Like, I don't understand. She found out your past. She wants to move on. So why are you mad? But yeah, I guess he would be mad because he's been creepy all this time. So, of course, when the woman wants to leave, like, of course he would get mad.
calls her and he sends her messages, just like bullshitting and trying to explain away all the stuff she found out about him that he was lying about. And he, of course, tells her that she's the love of his life and just
This
all
picture
these
of him.
things. And eventually, unfortunately, it works, and she decides
She's
to
so
give
dumb.
him another chance.
Mm-mm,
and
girl.
they move into a new apartment together, and they try and make it work out again. Until...
Why do I feel like she didn't get killed? She should have listened to the first. She had 2 chances to leave, and she came back.
Here's the thing about John. John is very controlling, and he doesn't want Deborah to really contact her daughters anymore, because, you know, they don't like him. And one day in 2016, he catches her sneaking out to meet up with her daughter Jacqueline, and he gets mad and blows the up at her, and he threatens to throw Jacqueline into the ocean if Deborah tries to meet with her again. And so finally, Deborah's like, nah, this is not going to work out for me. And she...
Oh, now she thinks it's the right time to go. Like those other 2 times, no, that wasn't good enough for her. But now it's time.
Leaves him for good. And
Does
of course,
she?
John, well, he doesn't respond well to this at all. And over the next few months, he starts going crazy. Crazier than he's ever...
Okay, I was just about to say, he's just now getting crazy because it's been almost 7 minutes of John being crazy.
Gone. He starts sending her threatening messages.
His face.
He files for divorce and demands half her income and ownership of her business. He starts stalking her. He steals her Jaguar and sets it on fire.
He kind of looks like
gets
Tom
spicy
Bergeron.
photos of her and emails them to her family. Just like all kinds of insane stuff. And at this point, Deborah's getting really scared. He'll try and hurt her. So she goes and she files a restraining order against him. But because he now lives in a different state and hasn't actually tried to harm her before, the restraining order gets denied. And that is very unfortunate because this is when he really gets out of control. Because one day, Deborah's daughter Tara is driving home from work, and she gets to her building, and she pulls into her parking spot, and as soon as she gets out of the car, boom, John is suddenly standing...
And also, why... Never mind. I was going to say, why go after the daughters when, like, he has a problem with the wife? But I guess in order to get back at the wife, he has to go to the daughters. But he has no life. He literally has no life. Because there are so many other things that someone could be doing, but he chose not to do any of that because he has no job. He's just living day to day, being weird and creepy.
Standing behind her, and pow, he attacks her with a knife. And they struggle, and he tries to push her into the car like he's kidnapping her, and bam, she bites the shit out of his hand, and they both fall to the ground. And there, they wrestle, and they continue the struggle, and pow, she kicks the knife right out of his hand, and then she grabs it herself, and boom, she starts stabbing him over and over
Well,
again.
that's what he gets.
Until...
I'm glad that she's not the one that got, you know.
in critical condition. And 4 days later, in the hospital, he dies. And Tanya's case is ultimately
Self-defense.
determined by police to be self-defense.
Yep.
Which...
And that is true because he has no life. He tried to attack her first for no reason. Like, I don't understand that. But dang, it's a crazy story. Moral of the story, when you see a red flag, you should take advantage of that and leave when you can before it escalates, the person gets too attached, and then they get crazier than they were before. But that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SexGV. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.